Hi there, this is Nick Devine from The Print Coach, and welcome to this video. We're going to have a very interesting conversation today, because what I want to talk to you about is how do you increase your profit margins by creating value for customers versus extracting value. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that concept in a couple of minutes. But if you sell for a living, you manage a sales team, or you own a company, this strategy can really help you get out of the commodity print trap where people are just buying on price. When you learn and use this way of selling, what will happen is you'll quickly develop a lot of power and influence in your accounts because of the way you deal with them. On the other hand, if you don't sell this way, you end up being doomed to an endless cycle of quoting and hoping and getting undercut by your competitors. Printers who sell this way, they're the printers who've become the profit leaders in the industry. They're achieving their personal and business goals. And printers who don't do business this way, what they're seeing is they're seeing their sales and profits beginning to flatten, and a lot of them are beginning to see the sales and profits decline. Customers love dealing with suppliers who sell this way, and you'll see why in a minute, because they're adding real value to their own company, so to your client's company. And printers who don't sell this way find it difficult to get appointments with customers, get people to return calls, because the customer doesn't want to waste the time seeing, their valuable time seeing people, seeing salespeople, whoever it is, that aren't really adding value to the equation. So, what is the difference between value creation and value extraction? You've experienced this, you've just maybe not understood it this way before. So value extraction, when you're taking value out, is when you're focusing on getting as much as you can out of your customer. When you use a kind of a value extraction as a sales model, what you're doing is you're hunting orders. Your contact with your customers. All you're doing is you're asking them about the printed products requirements, the schedule for printing, the volumes that they need, and then you're looking for an opportunity for a quote for that work. You're not adding real value. You may be adding a bit of value to the printed part of the equation, but you're not really adding value to the business from the customer's perspective. You're just looking for the value that already exists and seeking a way to fill the need with the products and services you have. So the customer has a need to get something printed, and you're looking to fulfill that need. And your focus is on making the numbers and hitting the numbers in the short term. So you've got a sales target, or a number we need to hit this quarter. I've got a sales target, or a number we need to hit this month. Now, value creation, this is a really different way of selling. When you sell using a value creation model, you're putting the customer at the center of your sales effort. So you're looking at business issues, really important, you're looking at business issues versus product issues. And you're getting the context in which the client is operating. And you're looking for ways to help the client achieve their business objectives, not just fill the print needs. Really important. And you're bringing ideas to them that they didn't even know were possible. They just didn't know that was even doable. But you know, because of your expertise. And I don't mean just product ideas. I mean ideas to make or save them money. Also, you tend to be selling higher up the value chain. So you're selling to directors maybe as opposed to print buyers. You're getting involved in projects earlier, and you're putting the prospect at the center of your thinking. Now, you're still very interested and focused on hitting the numbers and meeting the sales targets, but you're now doing it with a long-term sustainable focus. So that's the difference between the two. One of them, you're really creating value, and the other one, you're just extracting the value that exists. So let me give you a framework. You may have heard me talk about this framework before, but I'm going to talk about it in a slightly different context in here. And the framework's called the 4 customer models, and I'll explain how it fits into this framework here. So the first part of the 4 customer models, or model number 1, is price driven. This is often called the quote and hope model. This is where, and a lot of print is sold this way. And what it does, it really commoditizes what you sell. It says, the only thing that's really important here is the price. That's the underlying assumption. Price is the decision point when I actually go and buy the thing I'm buying, the print or the value-added services that go with that. A lot of competition when you sell this way, because everybody else, most printers who can't sell, have got very poor sales and marketing skills. What they tend to do is they tend to compete, just keep gouging the price till there's nothing left. Somebody blinks and somebody gets the transaction that time, and the customer comes back and they do the same thing the next time. They just go try and get the lowest possible price provider again. And price just becomes the deciding factor. Customers who buy this way, they're not particularly loyal to you. They'll switch you out for somebody else depending on who's got the cheap price at the time. What they're interested in is low price. They're not really interested in a value-based relationship with you. Excuse me. So the lowest cost provider in customer model 1 is usually going to win the deal. So they get the transaction, but they seldom secure the client for the long term. And that's a really cutthroat world way of selling and a place to be selling. And the customer, they can easily swap you out for somebody else, and it has no disruption at all in their business. All they're interested in doing is saving a few pennies or a few cents. And printers are seen as being just an interchangeable commodity supplier or an interchangeable vendor. You can take one out, swap another one in, doesn't make a difference to the business at all. Now, the second customer model, so model number 2, is product focus. And the difference between customer model 1 and customer model 2 is in model 2, quality is definitely a deciding factor for the buyer. In customer model 1, so long as the quality is good, it's good enough. But in customer model 2, they are looking for superior quality. So they want to deal with people who've got a significant investment in technical machinery and kind of software and a significant skill set, so technical expertise around print and the services that go with that. So the companies will have a significant investment in kind of technology, and they tend to see, the press, that's the USP, that's the unique thing that we've got. We've got a lot of unique, really clever technology, and we can produce incredible quality print. But the problem is with it is the salesperson that's selling this way is they tend to be selling on product issues and talking product issues as opposed to talking business issues, and tend to be talking lower down the organization. So that might be dealing with a marketing manager or somebody in design or a catalog manager. So it's still quite a low level of conversation. It's very strong on the technical skills, but very poor on the selling skills. So stronger technical skills, poor on selling skills. And if this is you, so you sell like this, I'm not meaning to give you a hard time. What I want to do is help you see maybe another better way where you can use all those skills you have to greater advantage for you. So you can't change it unless you recognize this. And the reason you're watching this video is you're obviously looking for some insights that help you take your game up to another level. People who are buying at a customer model 2 are still very price sensitive, but what happens is they tend to have a smaller group of people that they'll do business with. So the smaller group all have very good technical expertise, but they still want to hammer them down on price. And that's a really frustrating place to be when you think you've made such an investment in honing your skills and such an investment in developing great technology, to be in a situation where somebody is all they're interested in is just still getting cheap prices from you. And those customer model 1 and 2 tend to repel the customer. You don't really engage in deep conversations with them. It's like you go buy a car, you go buy a suit, you walk into the car yard or the department store, the salesperson comes up and says, "Can I help you?" And you go, "No, I'm just looking," because you're afraid they're just going to try and sell to you. They just want your money. They just want to extract the value that you've already got. They don't want to add to the value. That's our experience for most of us. We want to move past that, because what customer model 1 and 2 are all about is the selling outputs of the press. It says the printed product, that's where the value is, that's what we're going to sell. But the problem is everybody can sell that. So there's no competitive advantage in there, not a place to be. And we end up with the print at the center of the conversation. We want to move away from that. We want to move in this direction. So customer model 3 is better. This is where you're sitting down having a conversation with a customer. They start to tell you about some problems they have. You listen, so you're not just focused on the product, you're listening to the problems the customer has, and you say to the customer, "John, interesting, you've got that problem. We can help you solve that. We've got some capabilities in that area. Would you like me to go away and put up a post together? And we'll get together in a week or so's time and talk about what I think we could do for you and how we could help you and how that might help you save some time, save some money, make some money." And customer in that situation is going to go, "Great, I've got a salesperson that's listening to me. Fantastic." And you go help them, with whatever it is. They might be complaining about, the logistics around point of sales material across all the retail outlets. Or they might be complaining about, the length of time it takes them to do a direct mailing campaign. And you can say, "We've got resources, we can help you with that." And you can focus your resources on the things that make you money. We'll take all this stuff off of your plate for you. So that's a good move, customer model 3. But this is where you want to get to. You want to get to customer model 4. And the difference between number 3 and number 4 is this. In number 3, the customer's leading the conversation and you're reacting. In customer model 4, you're leading the conversation and the customer's responding to ideas you're bringing to him or her. You are now in front of the customer. And to make this work, you have to have a real deep understanding of your customers' pains and problems, what they're experiencing. And then you've got to get really creative around how you develop solutions and propositions that help them solve those pains. Now, your goal here is not to get ahead of the competition anymore. You're not necessarily thinking about that. You're actually thinking, how do I get ahead of the customer? So the customer is now at the center, and that's where my concentration is. Now, there's a clear move to value-added services because you need the combination of the printed product and the value-added services to really deliver solutions. That word that sometimes we wonder what it means, but to deliver solutions to problems for the customer. In this situation, we're broadening the scope of the conversation from just talking about print to actually talking about business issues, and we're also broadening the scope of the solution. Because when you think about your customer isn't lying awake at night thinking about printed products. Typically, you want to be dealing with somebody higher up the organization, senior business people, marketing directors, managing directors, owners. They're not thinking about printed products. They're thinking about business issues. And whatever they're thinking about at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's what you want to be helping them to think about. And one of the things they're thinking about is, how can I sell more of as the print client? How can I sell more of my things to my customers? And that's where you want to think about part of your conversation. How can I help my client sell more of the things they've got to their clients? How can I help them solve logistic problems that they've got in their business? How can I help them be more effective so they can reduce their costs in their business? And when you sell that way, what tends to happen is the competition, it doesn't get less, it actually tends to evaporate. Very easy to end up in situations with really valuable customers where there's no competition at all. It's incredible. So, for example, when you've got the customer at the center, you could be thinking about ways to maybe help them sell more products at point of sale, drive more traffic to a retail outlet, reactivate past clients, activate or attract new clients, promote a new product, sell more products and services to the existing customers. And what you want to think about is, think about your products and services not in terms of the characteristics that they have, but in terms of how they solve problems that the customer has. So not in terms of the characteristics, but in terms of the potential they have to solve problems for customers. And that's all about business issues, not about product issues. And in customer model 3 and 4, particularly in customer model 4, you're selling outcomes. What I mean by that is outcomes for businesses. So, growing sales, reducing costs, achieving business objectives. And that's all about really adding value. So that's where it's about value creation. In the output model, in customer model 1 and 2, that's extracting value. All you're doing there is you're saying, here's the value that already exists. The customer's printing these things. I just want an opportunity to quote for it and see if I can, do a better job of the print, and that's going to be good enough. And that's not really going to cut it in the world that we live in at the moment. So I've created a summary for you for this. And here's what I want you to do. So I'll show you in a second how to get hold of this summary. I want you to look through the summary, and then I want you to look at the next meeting you have with a customer or with a prospect and think about customer model 4. And then think, what ideas could I bring to that customer? One of my existing, really good quality customers, or a really good opportunity I've got with a potential new prospect. What ideas could I bring to the conversation that could really help them achieve their objectives? And what questions should I be asking the customer about what they're trying to achieve in the business? So I start asking about the business goals and the business objectives they've got. So that's the next step for you. In order to get that handout, if you're used to our blog, you know how this works. So just put your name, primary email, and put a comment in the blog. And here's what I want you to comment on the blog is, what did you learn? So what did you learn in this video, and what are you going to do with what you learned? So what did you learn in this video, and what are you going to commit to doing with what you learned? Because the highest level of learning is not when we've gathered information. That's just kind of intellectual entertainment. The highest level of learning is when we take that information and actually put it into action. So go use it so it produces a result in the real world. And that's what I want for you. That's why I produce these things for you, because I want you to get results in the real world. I don't want you just knowing things. I want you actually actually seeing your sales go up and your profits going up. So go make a comment in there. I really appreciate it because it helps keep our blog as the most interactive blog in the printing industry, which it is. And it's great for you because, I'm motivated to keep producing these videos for you. So go do that. This is Nick Devine signing off on this video. Look forward to catching you on the next video where we're going to be talking about more sales strategies, marketing strategies, business growth strategies, and profit strategies for your printing company. That's all for now. Bye-bye.